my speech tonight, let me tell you, there was an old seaman on a boat. And one day the first mate ran up to him and said, "Captain, Captain, there's a ship on the horizon and it's a battleship. What should we do?" And he said, "Ready the men for war and bring me my red shirt." So the first mate did. And the battle ensued, and they won, and they sunk the ship. And the first mate came back and he said, "I have to ask you, what was the deal with the red shirt?" He said, "Well, if during the battle I was injured and started to bleed, I would not want the fellow crewmen to know I was wounded, thus be disheartened and fight less hard." Several weeks passed, and the first mate came running again and said, "Captain, Captain, there are 12 ships on the horizon, and they're all battleships." And the captain said, "Ready the crew for battle, and bring me my brown pants." When Tom asked me last week to give the keynote tonight, I said yes, but I wanted to say, "Please bring me my brown pants." We are all on a journey to success. No matter whether it's professionally or personally, we're all on that same journey. Different goals, but we're all on a journey. Do you ever think about where you're going to be in 10 years, 5 years even, 20 years? What's your vision? What's your dream for yourself? I will never forget the day that I joined Toastmasters. And Tom Nixon came up to me and he said, "You are in a great place. This organization, especially this club, can take you places that you never dreamed possible." I thought to myself, what is it that he knows that I don't know? And now, 2 years later, I know a lot of the things he knew then. When I was a child, I had this vision. It was my dream for my future. Hold on to your hats. I was going to be a rock star. I was going to be on a stage wearing these funky, slinky outfits, dancing around, and singing to millions of people. Everyone would know my name. I was a household name. And when they mentioned my name, their jaws would drop. I was it. About the time I was 12 or 13 years old, I realized that skating, roller skating in my carport, and singing to the top of my lungs my Donny Osmond songs and my 45s wasn't going to get me to that stage that I wanted to be on. So that dream kind of faded, and then I had another dream, another vision of what my life would look like as I got older. Well, now I was going to be this fabulous, well-known fashion merchandiser. Forget the designers. Who cares about them? It was me, the one who picked out those beautiful clothes, spent my days in catwalks and the runways with the models and chose these clothes and these outfits and materials and beautiful things, and I would set the standard for what the world would wear and bring beauty in. That's what I wanted. Well, let me just say that in my first year of college, do you all know that they not only want you to know how to buy clothes, but they want you to know how they're made? My first class was Clothing Instruction 101. I couldn't thread a sewing machine needle. I had no idea. Determined, though, to make it work, my dear sister, who lived 30 minutes away, was burning up the road the entire semester, making my projects for me, because I couldn't sew. And it became really very obvious in that semester that that dream was just gone. I had no interest in sewing. I didn't want to work for it. I didn't care about it. I just liked clothing. So that dream was gone. Now, I will tell you that I always dreamed that I would get married. I wanted to get married. I wanted to have the 2.3 kids, live in the house with a picket fence, dog and a cat. Well, I got that dream, and I love that dream. I've worked really hard at that dream, too, to make that come to fruition. And we actually have 3 full children, not 2.5, and we don't have a cat, and I don't have much of a picket fence. But that dream has come to reality. And I will tell you that never in my wildest dreams did I ever think that I'd be a nurse, taking care of people in a hospital for 26 years, making them better, and when they left, they couldn't even remember my name. Dreams change. They come and they go. It's always important to have one. My dream now is very close, is to be a speaker, to share information with others. And that's something I've been working towards for the past couple of years. But always have a dream, and it begins here. Passion starts here. And once you have that dream, though, it's not just enough to have it. You have to work to achieve it. So the second leg to the journey of success is to make a plan, a map of directions to get from point A to point Z. You have to be careful, though, because we're all different. We all have different personalities. Maps are like road maps, and Mark likes to have a road map, a physical one he can hold in his hand that gives him complete directions on that line, the shortest distance from A to Z. Personally, I can't read a map. I have to turn it into the direction of the road that we're going, and so I don't like maps. At any rate, too, I'm kind of a meanderer. I like to wander through life. I'll get from A to B to C to D. It's going to take me a little longer because I like that journey along the way. But I still have a plan. We all need a plan. And it doesn't matter what your goal is, if it's just to get to the day or whether it's to reach the pinnacle of your career, you got to have a plan. I'll never forget when I was in nursing school, the first time I had more than one patient. It seems kind of comical now when I think of all the 40s and 50s patients I've seen in a day, but when I had more than one, I had 3. You have to give me a little bit of a break. I was at Grady, and Grady is a world unto its own. But I had 3 patients, and I had to make a care plan. That's what we did. A plan of action to get that patient better in that next 8 hours, and to move him from this point to a better state of health. Well, being the good student that I was, I diligently went over the night before. I got my assignment of my 3 patients, and I pulled their charts to see what we would have to do the next day. They tried to give you a variety. Well, my first patient was fine. He was about to go home. He didn't need much but a few pills, some vital signs taken. He was walking around. So he was fine. My second patient was a little more challenging. He had jumped out of a window, and he was a head injury patient. So though he didn't need to have a lot of IV fluids and medications and things, he was very confused, and he was in 4-point leather restraints. Now, thank heavens he was at least in one place and didn't get to move too much. My third patient, though, was a very, very sick man. He was not really long for this world. He was weeping from every orifice you could think of. He had a tube stuffed everywhere you could possibly imagine, and I had to take care of that and get that in order and figure out the plan of the steps of the day. So I went back to my dorm room, I took all this information, and I diligently sat down and wrote this detailed care plan out of how we were going to face the day. I was up till 3 a.m. in the morning. I showed up at the hospital the next day at 6:45 in my student nurse outfit and my little cap, and I went in and I was determined to save the world that day. Well, it was very evident. By 10 a.m., that care plan was not going to work. I couldn't get it together. I couldn't get meds on time. I couldn't get returned. I couldn't get tube feedings. I couldn't get the 4-point restraint man into 4-point restraints. It was horrible. And so I thought I was a failure, and I cried the whole day. My teacher, my professor, finally came to me, and she said, "Susan, what is your problem?" I don't think I mentioned that she was about as cold as ice. And she said, "What is wrong with you?" I don't know. I can't get it together. I failed the patients. I can't get their medicines. I can't get the tube feedings done. I can't get anything. And she said, grip on things. So I had an extra 15 minutes. In fact, it kind of helped that day because that man that was so sick, he died the night before. So as sad as that was, I was very relieved that I didn't have to take care of all of those things. So I had a lot of extra time. And I share this story with you to say we all need a plan of care, a plan of how we're going to move from one point to another. And you need to make it flexible because there's going to be some bumps along the way and some pleasant surprises too. So that plan of action, your roadmap, is the second key in your journey to success. The third key in your journey is to grab hold of and embrace those friendships that come your way. The friends and family that are going to help you get from where you are to where you want to be. When I first told my family that I wanted to speak, my husband and my kids said, "Great, go for it. That would be a really good job for you, Mom. You can talk the horns off a billy goat. Perfect for you." When I told my sister and my best friend, they said, "How can we help you?" In 1 week, I told 2 separate people that I was thinking about speaking, and they both suggested that I join Toastmaster. One of them was our own Ernie Pollitzer, who I wish was here tonight because he invited me to come to the club. That's how I ended up in the President's Club. The first day I came to the club, Jim Dawson introduced himself to me. And I have to tell you, he said to me, "Where do you want to go? What are your goals? What are you looking for? Where do you want to be in 5 years?" And I stood there going, I don't know. He scared me to death. I was scared of you. I have to say, though, 2 years later, he has given me the courage by encouraging me to do things that I never would have done. And doors have been opened because of Jim. First couple of speeches I gave, some of you might remember, I had a little problem remembering the words. Sweet Kumar sat in the back of the room and said, "Why don't you look at your notes?" And I said, "I would, but I don't have all my glasses. I can't see them." Note to self, always wear your glasses. But the point is, nobody laughed. Everybody was supportive to help you along that road. Friendships and families, the ones that help you, not the naysayers, stay away from them, but the ones who encourage you to go from where you want to go, where you are to where you want to be. Embrace them, grab hold of them, and enjoy those friendships. The journey to success starts with a passion in here, a dream that you have for where you want to go. Then it moves into action with that plan that you create. And along the way, grab those friends that are going to help you. And above all, believe in yourself and trust in what you're doing. And do it over and over and over again, because it will lead you to where you are meant to be.